All praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson talking about one particular law, right? That would get rid of a whole bunch of wickedness. If just this one law was enacted out on this earth, it would get rid of a whole bunch of wickedness that takes place on this earth, man, and would get rid of a whole bunch of corruption that we see take place on this earth. And I'm going to read the law. This is Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 16. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong. Now, that kind of stuff happens a whole bunch of times in this world, man, by where people lie about what, in particular, a so-called black man's did, and then a bit less a so-called black woman, or they'll lie about a Latino or a Native American, they'll lie about the Israelites, man, and they'll say that we've did something, they'll say that we've committed some kind of crime, right? And it will be a lie, and then we end up in jail, or we end up getting shot by the police, or we end up getting in a situation that's negative because we're tired of being blamed and accused of something that we didn't do, right? And we know that by us being accused of things that we haven't did in this world, we could be sentenced as though we did do it, because we know that there's not going to be a diligent search made in this world to try and prove our innocence, man. There's going to be more of a search to try and prove our guilt in this world, and we know that. We know this to be true, man, right? But Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 16 again, if a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before Yahweh, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition. Now, in this world, there's never a diligent inquisition made when somebody accuses a so-called black man of doing something, man, right? Or a Latino or a Native American man, an Israelite man. There's never a diligent inquisition made to see if it's true or not. Like I said before, there's more of a diligent search to prove our guilt, man, right? And there's many situations. There's a whole trend now of calling Edomite women Karens, right? There's a whole trend of that now, by where people know that that's a thing that these so-called white women do, man, by where they accuse people of doing things that they know they didn't do because they know that the police is going to show up in their favor. And that's why, even though some of the times the thing's being recorded in the camera, there's still no punishment for the person bearing false witness, man. And there's a whole money-making scheme that these women have of false paternity fraud, right? There's a whole money-making scheme of what these women have by sleeping with a guy for real, consensual. And then once they've done that, then they change their mind and then they lie and say that something else happened to them instead, man, right? But if this one law was taking place on the earth and being acted out on earth, it would get rid of a whole bunch of wickedness, man. A whole bunch. Verse 18 again, and the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be a false witness, and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall he do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. So what would happen if this law is being enacted, right, is when somebody accuses somebody of something, you'd say to them, okay, so what do you want us to do to them, right? And you'll just listen for the answer. Okay, you say that this man did that to you. What do you want to be the judgment for that? All right? What do you want to happen to that? Okay, you say this man stole from your house. What do you want the judgment to be for that? How much do you want? What do you expect? What do you think he owes you? And listen for their answer. You'd listen for their answer. And whatever their answer would be, right, when it's found out that they're lying, that's what's going to happen to them. Whatever it is, whatever the answer would be, man. So if the person said, I think that this person shouldn't be on earth no more because they did this, right? Well, when it's found out that they're lying, well, that's going to be what's going to happen to them. They're going to not be on the earth anymore. That's what would happen if this law was enacted out, man. Right? Now, there's an example of this in the scriptures in the book of Susanna, right? Where two men lie and say that a woman's committing adultery, right? And they say that she was caught committing adultery with a guy because they wanted to try and put her in a situation by where they said, we're going to say you committed adultery if you don't sleep with us and commit adultery, right? So, but she said, nah, I'm not doing it. I'd rather have not did it, and be accused of it, then to do it and be let go by you. And then the way it ended up going was that Daniel at the time, he did research and made a diligent inquisition, just like the scriptures say, according to the law that he's supposed to do. And he said, where did you see the woman committing adultery? And one of the two men said by one tree, and the other man said by a completely different tree. So it was found that they was lying, and then, which according to the law, the woman's supposed to die. Because it was a false witness, they died, right? And this law, man, would get rid of a whole bunch of wickedness, man, because there's a lot of false witnesses that have gone on in this world, man. Our apostles, our teachers, man, they've been accused of a whole bunch of madness in this world, and people have said a whole bunch of stuff about other men too, right? They've accused men of doing certain things. They've accused men of being certain things, man. And when it turns out that these people are not those things, nothing happens to them. They're able to just still run around and be free and not get judged for this, man. But just knowing that this law is being acted out on this earth, everybody would watch their mouths, man. Right? In particular, which it always comes up most of the time, and because it's a heavy demonic force on this earth right now, in particular, women would be really put in their place by this law, man. Right? And weak men would be too. Women and weak men and grimy scumbags, man. They'd be put in their place by this law because they wouldn't be able to just be free, flowing with their tongue, making lies, and thinking that they're going to escape judgments, man. They wouldn't be able to do that. Let me read the whole law again. Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 16. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between who the controversy is shall stand before Yahweh, before the priest and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. And behold, if the witness be a false witness, and have testified falsely against his brother, then shall he do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shalt thou put the evil away from among you. And this is the things that we're going to be doing in the kingdom, man. We're going to be judging among the nations. So if one nation says that another nation did something to them, or one particular person within a nation, one of these heathen nations says that somebody did something towards them, we're going to be judging this, man. We're going to say, okay, so you say that this neighbor stole from your house, right? You're saying he stole from your land. So what do you think he owes you, right? What do you think he owes you then, right? Then they'll say whatever they're going to say. Then we'll make a diligent search into that and be like, okay, we're going to get some of our detectives out there, man. We're going to get some of our researchers to see. And Yahweh's going to put the spirit on us to know exactly what went down. And if it's found that they're lying, we're going to judge it according to that. And if it's found they're telling the truth and they did steal, then we're going to judge according to the law also. But we're going to be the rulers of this earth, man, and we're going to stand over these people and judge and make the world be handed out in righteousness, man, and it's going to purge away evil when these things happen. So in this world, man, you got women that lie and say that men did things to them, right? And then they able to get those men put in jail, right? And then they just end up scaling away and flying away, and then nobody even knows about whatever ended up happening to them, right? But if we're judging it by the law, according to the law, when they find out that a man didn't do something to a woman and the woman confesses and says, actually, he didn't do it, right? Now they should be at least throwing her ass in jail then for the same amount of time that man spent in jail. She shouldn't be getting no reward for getting a clean conscience because she just lied and made somebody go to jail. And then a lot of the time, I remember there was one story where a woman wrote a whole book about accusing some guy of doing something to her, and then when he got brought out, nothing happened, man. And that's disgusting. To be honest with you, that's disgusting, man. And it's one of the things that Yahweh hates, a lying tongue, man. This is Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. These 6 things doth Yahweh hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, and lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. And a person that bears false witness is guilty a lot of the times for all 3 of those, because they'll have a proud look on their face because they'll have to make their face seem convincing when they're lying, right? They're going to have a lying tongue, and their hands a lot of the time shed innocent blood, man. They've been the cause of people's blood being on their hands through their lies. A heart that divides of wicked imaginations, that's also something that a false witness would do. Feet that be swift in running to mischief, a person that bears false witness will also be guilty of that, man. Now it even mentions it. Verse 19, a false witness that speak of lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. And that's something that the person that's bearing false witness can do as well, man. Right? And the worst false witnesses that are on this earth right now are the people that are lying about our Messiah, Yahweh. They're lying about his color, right? They're lying about who he came to save. They're lying about his nationality. They're lying about his lineage. They're lying about who his father was on earth, which it was Joseph. Joseph was of the lineage and house of David, right? Now, people can say that Mary was too. Okay, fine, if you want to say that, that's fine. But Joseph being of the house of the lineage of David is what made the Messiah, Yahweh, be of the house and lineage of David. Because if Joseph was from the house of Saul and had a child with Mary, right, then what would the child that would have been born from that been of the house of? It would have been from the house of Saul. Now that wouldn't have been where the Messiah would have came through, because the Messiah would have had to be born through the house of David. But the point is that the children, every single child that's ever been born, belongs to the tribe of their father. The tribe of their father, not the tribe of their mother. The tribe of their father, man. Because even if Mary would have been part of the tribe of Levi, Yahweh would have still been born in the tribe of Judah, man. Because that's the tribe that his father on earth was, Joseph. And there's at least 2 scriptures that I can think of that show that that's the case, man. But Yahweh's against, like I said, man, Yahweh's against false witnesses, man. And just that law being enacted out on the earth would get rid of a whole bunch of wickedness, man. And I think it's even in the, let me just see. Is it in the 10 commandments? Here we go. It's even in the 10 commandments, man. Yahweh's against false witness, man. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 19 and verse 16. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, because that sows discord among brethren, man. If one person says, oh, this person's doing this person's doing that, and it's not true, which obviously you have to, according to the law, man, and according to wisdom, you have to be aware of people, man, right? But in this world, there's a whole bunch of lies that get told all the time. Women lying and saying that men assaulted them, right? Then they're calling their brother down, and then now one of those 2 men, or both of them, are going to end up losing their lives in some way, shape, or form, because one of them might end up dead, and another one's going to end up in jail, man. Right? And bearing false witness is a big crime, man. It's a big one. That's why it's even in the Exodus 20. It's a big one, and it's one of the ones that, if that was taken out of the earth would be in a much better place than it is now, man, because the earth's jacked up right now, because people are able to just do things and be snitches, not even snitching in terms of like for righteousness' sake, not even snitching in terms for righteousness, they're snitching in terms of wickedness, because they'll accuse the person that they don't like of committing a crime and say, oh yeah, I saw him do it, officer. I saw him there. It happened. Yep, that's exactly the time it happened, and they know they're lying. But then they've got somebody rid of, man. That a lot of people in this world have got blood on their hands because of calling the police on people, lying and saying, oh, I saw a man go into a house with a gun, when they know that the man lives there. They know he's their new neighbor moving into the neighborhood, but they'll lie. But they might have a neighbor, right? Let's use brothers in the truth, for example, man. You might have neighbors that live around you, right? And they've saw the videos of what you do or whatever, and they might lie to other neighbors and say, you know, that this guy is like some kind of and just lie about you, which is now making people that had a no thought about you look at you a completely different way, when what they're saying is lies, because they know they've never seen you do none of that. They know that they've just heard what you're reading from the Bible, and they don't like it because something in the words makes them feel like it's true. And because they know they're not a part of it, then they're hateful towards it. But they know that you're not what they said you are. But they're bared false witness, man. And like I said again, man, it's one of those things that Yahweh's against, man. He's against it. And there's many other laws as well, which I'll read some of them right now. Exodus 20 and verse 13. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And those 5 right there that I just read, if those 5, or those 4 additional ones, was acted out on the earth would be completely different to now, man. But the false witness one, that's what I'm talking about in this particular lesson, mainly. that false witness thing is a big deal, man. It's a big deal. Like that one causes a lot of madness, man. It's been the cause of men going to jail. It's been the cause of people not moving up in the world in whatever way they want to be. It's been the cause of people moving down in the world, right? It's been the cause of why we went into hardcore slavery and why we had our land stolen. People tried to lie and say we're savages. The whole reason why people think that we're black in this world, that's based on a false witness, because we ain't black. Our skin's brown. My skin's brown. My skin's never been black. The dark, even if I went to a hot country before and my skin's been the darkest it's ever been, it still was not black. It was dark brown. I've never been black. My skin's never been black in my life, and I've never seen a black person in my life. I've saw some extremely dark brown people, but I ain't never seen a black person every once in my life. Not once in my life, man. And I ain't never seen a white person neither. I've seen red people. I've seen pink people. But I ain't never seen none of the colours that people try and say on this earth. I ain't never seen that, man. But like I said, this whole thing based on a false witness, man. People have lied and said we ain't the Israelites when they know that we are. And because of that lie, that's caused a whole other bunch of stuff to happen to us on this earth. People have lied and said that they are Israelites, and that's caused a whole bunch of madness on this earth. And it's made people think that because we're not Israelites and we're just black people and we don't have no history, no culture, that they can treat us in whatever way they want, man. But that's not going to be the case, though, because Yahweh's going to remember, and he's recorded every single crime that these people have ever committed against us, man. The ones that we do know about and the ones that we don't know about, man. Yahweh's recorded all of it, and he's recorded everything that people have said about him also, which is even more important than what's been said about us. Yahweh is not mocked, man. And Yahweh is not going to cause us to be mocked forever either. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 7, be not deceived. Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to the flesh shall receive of the flesh, shall of the flesh reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting. And we're not going to be mocked forever, man. People ain't going to be able to keep getting away with bearing false witness on us. They ain't going to get to keep bearing false witness on the scriptures, right? You got people that are running their mouth all the time saying a whole bunch of madness, man, calling men rapists, right? Then if that's the case, man, when have you ever seen in this world, right, that a man keeps getting accused of a crime and not one person comes forth and says, yeah, this happened to me at the hands of these people? But then some of the accusers of accusing people of these things have been continually having their own scandals coming out about them, man. And some of them have had the same crimes that they accused men of doing. They're now facing charges for that same crime. Some of the scoffers, so what about that? But it's like I said, man, this world, man, is just, that particular law, man, would get rid of a whole bunch of wickedness, man. That one law right there being acted out on this earth would get rid of a whole bunch of madness that takes place on this earth, man. And I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.